Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, May the 14th, right about the middle part of the month of May, and we still have some colder than normal air masses coming into the U.S. from Canada. We have a couple of low pressure areas that will actually slide to the south of the mid-Atlantic region over the next several days. One such slow moving system will bring some rain to the mid-Atlantic region later on today, into the day on Thursday. Another system comes this weekend. Still an overall active weather pattern, even though we are now into the middle part of the month of May. One of the interesting teleconnection indices we take a look at, especially during the winter time, is known as the North Atlantic Oscillation, and when it is in a sustained negative territory, that generally is correlated with some blocking in the upper part of the atmosphere over places like northern Canada and Greenland, and that in turn allows for colder than normal air masses to penetrate the U.S. from Canada. Well, look at this. We're still in a negative phase here over the next couple of weeks. This is actually dropping right now as we approach the middle part of May to the neutral area and then into negative territory. It looks like it will remain right through the end of the month of May. Again, that generally suggests to me that we will continue to have some colder than normal air masses dropping into the U.S. from Canada over the next couple of weeks. And that suggests a couple of things. An active weather pattern with the continuation of a decent amount of rainfall over a large portion of the country. And this time of the year, whenever you have those colder air masses still dropping from the north and west, clashing, at least potentially clashing with warm and humid air riding northward from the Gulf of Mexico, you can also have a continuation of some severe weather outbreaks over the next couple of weeks. And it's been pretty active on that particular front over the past couple of weeks. Well, let's start off by taking a look at last night's 0Z run of the GFS, the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps going forward. On a North American viewpoint here. We're taking kind of a broader view than normal here, and I just want to point out a couple of things that are of interest. First of all, again, I mentioned at the top here that these low pressure areas are still driving pretty far to the south and east for given the time of the year. We are now into the month of May, and this particular system here will send low pressure south of the mid-Atlantic region. That promises cool weather for tomorrow into the day on Thursday, and some rainy weather for places like D.C., where it actually will begin to rain shortly over the next couple of hours here. The threat of rain in the mid-Atlantic starts later today and lasts all the way into Thursday. And again, with low pressure moving to the south and east, will develop an onshore flow of air, and it'll be cooler than normal for sure on Wednesday and Thursday in the big cities along the I-95 corridor region. Now, let's clear the deck here and move forward here and just watch the movement of this low pressure. Again, we've talked about this jet stream still pretty strong all the way south. It's basically in this fashion right now here, and that's pretty far to the south given the fact that we are now into the middle of the month of May. Now, let's move forward here and watch the movement of this system here. And here we go. It slides east, and surface low pressure will actually be situated off the mid-Atlantic coastline to the south and east of places like Philadelphia and New York City. That allows for an onshore flow of air on Wednesday into the day on Thursday. Temperature should be well below normal for this time of the year to go along with periods of rain and maybe a few thunderstorms mixed in as well. We'll move forward here. This is into the day on Thursday. Here's that first upper level low off the mid-Atlantic coastline. Very slow moving system. And then we have another one right on its heels. Here we go by Saturday morning. Again, still a track to the south all the way down into the lower part, middle part of the Mississippi Valley region. This is as we begin the upcoming weekend. More of a late winter type of weather pattern than well into the springtime, as we are now into the middle of May. In fact, a lot of snow lovers are wondering where the heck was that negative NAO during the winter season here. We could have used it if you like the idea of snow in the Mid-Atlantic region. It slides to the east. Another round of rain likely for the Mid-Atlantic region, probably Saturday into Sunday, and that follows today into the day on Thursday. So an overall wet weather pattern. And look up over northern Canada here. We've talked about that negative NAO, and here's your block. It's kind of a blocking pattern here up over northern Canada with an upper level ridge kind of stationed over there and kind of forcing these systems far to the south. And again, jet stream way suppressed for the middle part of May down into the southern part of the U.S. with that blocking over Canada. And again, that's typical of a sustained negative NAO. Now let's move kind of quickly out into the next week. This is now Monday of next week. And one thing I want to point out, as we get towards the latter part of the month of May, of course, tropical season officially begins on June 1st. Nature can begin the tropical activity at any time. That's just kind of an artificial beginning made by humans here of June the 1st. But one of the things I like to look for during tropical season is high pressure ridging aloft over the southeastern part of Canada. That oftentimes, if you get a strong upper level ridge right in this region, that oftentimes opens a door for some tropical waves to move to the west all the way down into, let's say, the southeast U.S., the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico. And as we get to the end of this month, the end of May, we do start to see some upper level ridging now. This is the end of next week. We'll go out even farther in time here, way to the end of this time period here for the 0Z GFS. We'll start to see pretty strong upper level ridging. Here we are near the end of the month of May, and notice this right here, very strong upper level ridging. This is speculation phase right now. We're way out there, 372-hour forecast map from last night's 0Z GFS. But this is a sort of high pressure ridging I'll be kind of focusing in on during the tropical season again, which officially gets underway June 1st, but we'll have to watch for some activity as early as late May or certainly during that first week or two in June. And we've talked about in the tropical outlook that this is really the area of concern this tropical season. A lot of activity, I think, is destined for the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, and with that, of course, the threat goes into the Gulf states and Florida here. So this is the area of concern, probably beginning as early as right around the time we turn from May into June, during that first week of June or so. And again, this is kind of an upper level pattern here that I'll be monitoring closely as we get into that tropical season. That strong upper level ridge over southeastern Canada, again, can open the door for some tropical activity, something we'll watch for later this month going into June and for the next few months. Well, we talked about that negative NAO, and we'll just take a quick look here at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies going forward here. And with that NAO dropping into neutral and then into negative territory over the next couple of days and staying in negative territory right through the end of the month of May, don't be surprised if we get some colder than normal air masses dropping from Canada into the U.S. all the way to the end of the month of May. Now, let's quickly move forward here. Again, we're taking that North American viewpoint here. Greenland up here with a lot of colder than normal air this particular week. We'll move forward here. There's pockets of colder than normal air throughout North America here, with Greenland over northwestern U.S., southwest Canada, and heading into Alaska late this week, early this week. And now we'll keep moving forward here. And again, remember that negative NAO, and that leads to that upper level ridging over northern Canada, and with that above normal temperatures, at least at the 850 millibar level. Now we're into next week. We're all the way out a week from today. Colder than normal air throughout much of the western U.S., and again, this could set up a clash zone to watch. This is early to middle of next week. Warmer than normal air here over the Mississippi Valley. Colder than normal to the north and west. Let's keep moving forward here quickly. And again, we'll see continuation of some colder than normal air masses. This is at the end of next week here into southwestern Canada, Alaska, and the western U.S. A lot of warmer than normal conditions by the end of next week over south central states here. We'll go out a little farther in time here. And again, continuation all the way through the month of May for some of these colder than normal air masses. This one's dropping from western Canada into the western part of the U.S. all the way near the end of May. This is all the way out 2 weeks from today to May 28th. So again, that negative NAO is certainly showing up with respect to some blocking in terms of upper level ridging over northern Canada, and it's showing up pretty well over the next couple of weeks with a continuation of some cold air outbreaks from Canada into the U.S. Well, let's wrap up by looking at the CONUS viewpoint here, the continental U.S. We're looking at the surface maps from the 0Z run of the GFS, and here's that surface low pressure as we begin the day here on Tuesday, right over the middle Mississippi Valley region. A lot of heavy rain, embedded strong thunderstorms along the northern Gulf Coast this morning, and we'll move forward here. And this system kind of slows down dramatically, and a secondary develops along the Mid-Atlantic coastline, and again kind of forced to the south of the big cities, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. We'll go out a little farther in time. Here we are 24 hours from now, tomorrow morning. Strong low pressure off the Mid-Atlantic coastline. Again, this is kind of a pattern snow lovers would have liked to have seen quite a bit more often this past winter, with a negative NAO and lows moving to the south and east of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. This time of the year produces cool conditions here because we will develop an ocean flow of air just like this on a Wednesday. You'll see winds in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, for example, out of the east to northeast. That knocks several degrees off the temperatures this time of the year. And of course, we won't have sunshine as well. So let's continue to move forward here. We have periods of rain on Wednesday. Again, maybe some embedded thunderstorms. Here's that low pressure right along the Mid-Atlantic coastline here, and again that low-level flow of air off the ocean will keep it cooler than normal. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, Wednesday into the day on Thursday. Now, let's move forward here. And I said there's a second system coming this week, and here we go. Again, it kind of takes a southern route here and spreads rain from the Midwest into the Mid-Atlantic region on Saturday. And it looks like, again, kind of a slow-moving system. Again, that's typical of a negative NAO, slow-moving low-pressure areas in the eastern U.S. And here it is, way down to the south here over North Carolina, middle of the day on Sunday. That will keep it cooler than normal in the Mid-Atlantic region, all the way down to the Carolinas. Unsettled, periods of rain again, probably Saturday into Sunday, as that next low-pressure area drives to the south and east. And we'll move ahead here all the way into the early part of next week, and there's that low pressure area off the North Carolina coastline by the time we get to about a week away from right now. This is next Tuesday morning. So again, taking that southern jet stream route, staying to the south, producing cooler than normal conditions in much of the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S. For the next several days. And again, it looks like right through the end of the month of May, we'll have continuation of some colder air masses, colder than normal air masses dropping from Canada into the U.S. So a lot going on. Still an active weather pattern across the nation. Looks like that'll remain active right through the end of the month of May. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.